I can't tell. There we go. Now I hear it. Okay, very good. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Everybody warm enough today? All righty, we have special guests tonight to kick our meeting off. We've got Grace and Gabe Hobbs. Grace is a 7th grader. Gabe will be a 6th grader at North Rock Creek. They're here with their mom, Charity Hobbs. Dad is Mike Hobbs. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to, I think Gabe's going to do the talking. So Gabe, it's all yours, buddy.
I call this meeting to order.
Yours, and you sit right there. All right, very good. Thank you guys very much. All righty, so we will call the roll.
Matthews.
Here.
Ingalls.
Here.
Flood.
Here.
Bolt.
Here.
Rutherford.
Here.
Seahorn.
Here.
Salter.
Here.
Capricorn.
Very good, thank you. Let's see, invocation. Oh, there he is, Ken's here. So, C3 Church. How are you, sir?
Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you that we can come here representing our community. I pray, Lord, as the discussions happen in this room, that every thought, every mouth that speaks, it will be here to lift our community up, not to tear it down. Lord, we're here to build it up, not to bring it down. And I pray that your hand will be upon each one of the commissioners, the mayor tonight, as they encounter the things they are going to encounter, so that, Lord, they will make the best decision for our community. And we ask this in your name. Amen.
Thank you. Do a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 1 is recognition members of Shawnee Police Department. So we've got a presentation that we'll make down front here, and I see Chief is here, and I think you got a bunch of help here tonight with you, Chief. So I'm gonna run it down.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Where do you want me?
Oh, there we go. Oh, right up here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there?
I believe just us two will be here
Just the
tonight.
two of you.
Yes.
See, I think you may be taking these to the others. So we got Grassy
Yeah. Get that to him.
and Bruce. Saw him right there.
Yep,
So,
that's me, thank you.
there you go. And then we got one more here for Jason Crouch, which I haven't seen him. So if you guys could get them. And then do we have? We don't have, I may need one of those. So
There you go.
show it to everybody. Okay, so we've got a certificate of recognition on this 5th day of July 2022 to Detective Austin Gazelle and the other three. On behalf of the City of Shawnee, acknowledges dedication and commitment to the safety and well-being of our community. And I understand there was an incident at the hospital, I believe, that you guys
That's correct.
got involved in, and everything turned out as we would hope, and nobody got hurt, and everybody stayed safe. But I know we got a big letter of thanks from the administration at the hospital, and they just had nothing but high praise on the Shawnee Police Department. So
Well, good. We appreciate that.
We really appreciate your efforts, and you're welcome to talk to the to the crowd here tonight, if
okay.
there's anything else you want to tell them about what happened.
Well, basically, the hospital received a threat in reference to someone coming up there to possibly shoot somebody, an employee. So we take that very serious. As soon as we received the phone call, our patrol officers responded to the scene, made sure it was safe, began an investigation. The suspect later arrived at the hospital, and we were able to take him into custody with no issues.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your efforts. Good seeing you guys. And then we also have another recognition. I guess it should have just stayed down there for the Shawnee Tourism Department. So Stacy Moore and Erica Bass are here to receive that. You got pictures and everything. You just have those, okay, to show off. You've already got those. So would you guys like to tell everybody about your big night?
So the Oklahoma Travel Industry Association, which is made up of tourism entities all over the state of Oklahoma. That was one of the questions that we've gotten is who does that cover? And it's the whole state, including most of the tribal entities as well.
Right.
They have their Red Bud Awards, which is the highest award given to tourism entities in the state. And a few weeks ago we went and we were very fortunate. We were named the Tourism Organization of the Year this year. We also received the award for Best Travel Website, and we got second place for Best Low Budget Brochure, or brochure under $10,000. So
Very good.
very
I know
fortunate.
I was there that night as well as Andrea, and Cammie was there, so Commissioner Ingalls went with us, and it almost got embarrassing how many times we were going up there to accept awards. And then on top of that, CPN won Event of the Year. I
They
think,
won
for
Best
the-
Event for the Balloon Fest.
Yeah.
So again, you think of all the
Yeah.
events in the state of Oklahoma, for Shawnee to bring home the award for the best event, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so Shawnee did really, really, really well that night. So thank you for all your hard work, and you guys represent us very well. So
Thank you.
thank you so
Commissioner.
much. I guess I'm going to be back up there again. So item 3 is swearing in of Ward 1 Commissioner Daniel Matthews, Ward 2 Commissioner Cammie Ingalls, and Ward 5 Commissioner Mark Seahorn. So Judge Atwood is here to do the swearing in, and then I've got stuff to give you guys down front, so we'll just go right down there. Hey, buddy.
Good evening. So we're going to take the oath of office. So lift your, raise your right hand and we'll repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mark Seahorn,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
and the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
and that I will not
and I will not
knowingly receive directly or indirectly
knowingly receive directly or indirectly
any money or other valuable things
any money or valuable things
for the performance or non-performance
for the performance or non-performance
of any act or duty
of any act or duty
pertaining to my office
pertaining to my office
other than the compensation allowed by law.
other than the compensation allowed by law.
I further swear that I will
I further swear that I will
faithfully discharge my duties as Commissioner
faithfully discharge my duties as Commissioner
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations.
Five. One. And then I will, everybody see what this is. This is the, from the election board, that's the certification of the election. Anyway, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 5 then is citizen participation. Same rules as always, 3 minutes per person, 12 per topic. Joe will keep time for us. And we've only got, looks like 2 that have signed up tonight. So first up is Rob Morris. So Rob, if you want to come forward, the microphone's all yours.
Good evening. Excuse me. I don't really do much congratulating here, it's fair to say, but tonight I'd like to. Congratulations are indeed called for at this time, so let me start. Congratulations to the newly elected and re-elected folks on the commission. Congratulations on showing all of Shawnee that y'all couldn't run campaigns alone. Took 5 people to beat me and 6 to beat Miss Camerata. Y'all must have really been scared of her. Congratulations on the 465% increase in homeless around Shawnee that's not going down. Congratulations on not caring about the depot till election time. Congratulations on making an absolute mess out of our expo. Congratulations on having a kayak dock that the only people who can't use it are the people it's meant for. And finally, congratulations on using the homeless to drive down property values for y'all's property scam. So here's the police report, so it's real. From a threat from the homeless people that apparently I struck a nerve. And I'm curious if it was anybody on this commission or even anybody that might be employed by the city that brought that stuff up that all of a sudden made me a target. So I went ahead and made a paper trail just in case, just to be on the safe side. Part of what was said, she kept walking and I said, and I quote, she kept walking and I said, that's mine, give me that. She said, F Rob Morris, I'm just trying to protect me and my friends and a whole lot more. So who else are they trying to protect? Who else is trying to protect the homeless? Huh? Not the homeless people that need help, the vagrants that are here to abuse us. Next, 724 days till the next election. You ready? Community market, agenda item number 10. Does this giant packet have anything to do with agenda item number 10? Next, explain how the contractor will affirmatively further fair housing in detail. Explain when lead-based paint removal would be necessary for an already established business. Part number 3 of the contract, number 3 and 4, what does any of this have to do with housing? I thought it was for food. And then lastly, actually 2 things lastly, where's the $200,000 for the fire department training center that's supposed to be next to UPS? Could have been revenue generating for us. And at the end of all of this, I hope nobody got elected so that they can just quit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is Cliff Harden. How are you doing, Cliff?
All right. So, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak publicly about a problem and possibly an opportunity regarding the Lions Club baseball fields. The YMCA did a fantastic job providing parents and coaches the best available product they could with the limited resources that were given to them. But I want to put that on record that this is not a complaint about the YMCA. They did a fantastic job this summer in regards to the baseball programs. However, during the season, we did not have bathrooms, and we were graced with porta potties during the heat of June. But apparently, that this incident with the bathrooms actually stemmed from the fall flag football as well too. So this has been going on for a hot minute. So I was approached by some parents. This is my first year coaching baseball, so I was approached by some parents to come up here and start the conversation. I don't know if the city, from my understanding, the city has ultimate responsibility for the fields. I understand that there's probably the Y and the city probably has a mutual maintenance agreement, but I'm going to assume that the bathrooms don't fall under that purview of the YMCA. So that's why they asked me to come up here and speak to you guys today. I suspect also that when the fields were built out in Fire Lake, that the Lions Club kind of fell to the wayside, unfortunately. But there's an opportunity here in the city, I think, that we have a foundation for a sports complex if we just do a little TLC, right? But anyways, the sad reality for baseball specifically is that travel and tournament teams are also pricing some of these kids out of rec ball. And they're having to either choose to play outside of Shawnee or choose other sports or not play ball at all. I'm a baseball guy, full disclosure. Other sports, that it's important regardless. So the upcoming school year also, the Shawnee Elementary Schools are doing some really exciting things when it comes to recreational sports. If the Lions Club could have did a little TLC, there may be an opportunity for those kids to go out there and see the fields, maybe help broaden some of these sports recreational opportunities that the Shawnee Public Schools is going to take advantage of this year. So with that being said, there's folks on the commission that work with, community renewal, that are, forward thinking. These could bring in businesses. There's those on the commission that used to coach back in the day and had their very business on the back of those jerseys. And I'm going to assume that they had some profits because of some of the deals that were made out there on the fields, because they got some advertisement. So all that being said, really, the concerns, I just came forward because the parents wanted me to, and I got to see it firsthand as well too. There's a good opportunity for the city of Shawnee to take a look at those fields and possibly renew it, revamp it, maybe even partner with the folks down there at Fire Lake, and travel ball tournament teams can come and we can drive some revenue as well too here. Those are just my thoughts, but I understand that I have limited time regarding this concern, but thank you for your time. Yes, sir.
I think your time
And
is up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Alrighty, item 6, consider approval of consent agenda. Is there anything anyone wants to pull off the consent agenda? If not, is there someone that would like to make a motion?
I move to approve. I'll second.
Thank you, Daniel and Darren. Alrighty, so we have a motion and a second for approval of item 6. We will call that question. Motion passes 7-0. Item 7, presentation of animal control to present pet of the week. And I think we have a little cat out there. How are you guys tonight?
Hello, everyone, and congratulations. My name is Wendy. I work for Animal Welfare, and this is Shelby. Our pet of the week is called Whiskey. He is half Siamese and half domestic Shorthair. He's about 5 months old, very, very talkative. So whoever wants to go ahead and have him, they need to know he's not going to be quiet, laid-back kitty. He is very, very active and playful. And he is very much available for adoption. Right now we have 36 dogs and 7 cats and 1 other, which this time instead of a pig, which some of you may remember Miss Piggy, is a rooster. We still have him. But we've had 4 dog adoptions and 3 cat adoptions. 15 dogs and the puppies went to rescue, and we have 2 reclaims. Thank you very much, and y'all have a great night.
Thank you. Item 8, grant acceptance from Avitas Foundation for Woodland Veterans Park. And our city manager, Ms. Whitmore Behringer, is up. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing wonderful. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. In 2015, the City of Shawnee completed a parks inventory and assessment. The primary recommendation of that study was to focus resources on major parks, including Kidspace and Woodland Veterans Parks. In 2017, the city completed a parks master plan as the follow-on to that inventory, and that parks master plan included design concepts for those 2 parks as well as 4 others. Major park improvements were subsequently included in the list of projects for the 2018 half-cent sales tax, which was approved by the Shawnee voters. Jumping forward to 2022, construction activities at Kidspace Park are now underway, and later this evening we will open bids that we've received for the construction at Woodland Veterans Park. Now, as you know, Woodland Veterans Park is the central park for the city of Shawnee. Many mature trees, civic and historical buildings, and of course inclusive of our Veterans Memorial. However, the park and the equipment is scattered and rather outdated. The Woodland Veterans Park design was recently completed this spring, and it will retain the pool as well as the splash pad, but it also proposes 2 new areas, an amphitheater and a playground on the west side, as well as a tennis and pickleball courts, art area, and a playground on the east side of the park. Construction is scheduled to start this fall and will be completed by next summer. In an effort to augment the 2018 half-cent sales tax funds that will support the park improvements, the city has previously approached the Avitas Foundation with a cost-sharing proposal for the amphitheater. City staff was recently informed that the Avitas Board is in support of the project, and staff recommends the acceptance of the Avitas Foundation grant revenue in the amount of $766,833.25. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Anybody got questions? Rather generous offer from the Avitas Foundation.
Absolutely.
More than $750,000.
Is this a grant that we will have to repay to the Avitas Foundation?
It is not a loan. A loan would have to be repaid. A grant, the money is given to us outright for the purpose specified.
Okay, I want to make sure that I heard you correct, that we are not giving money back to the Avitas Foundation in any way, shape, or form. They are giving money to the city of Shawnee.
They are giving money to the city for the cost of building the amphitheater and its stage.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
No questions, it's exciting.
It is
It
exciting.
is pretty exciting.
I love the illustration that we've been provided. That reminds me a lot of, was it Scissortail Park in Oklahoma City? I think that's going to be a great addition. So,
Does it come
Cute.
with the piano?
yeah, does it come with the piano and the guy playing it? Road looks good.
It's awesome.
Yep. Anyone like to make a motion?
I'll
Move
make
to
a
accept.
motion. Oh, sorry.
That was
I will
fast.
second.
Okay.
I will second his
You will
very quick
second it.
motion.
All righty, so, let's see, there we go. So Darren had the motion. And Travis had the second. All righty, so we have a motion and a second for approval of item 8. We will call the question. And that motion passes 7-0. Item 9, consideration of following budget amendments for fiscal year 2021 to 2022. And it looks like we've got several of them here as we, pretty normal this time of year to be doing this. So how are you, sir?
Good, and you, sir?
I'm doing well.
Good. This is just a common practice to close out the previous fiscal year, making budget amendments to various accounts. Happy to answer any questions.
Anybody got any questions? Just pretty well what we always see the first meeting of the year.
Just to clear up, one of them is duplicated. On our list, there's 67,986 transferred to police sales tax revenue in excess of, it's on there twice. Is it two transfers or is it a duplicate
It, in the memo, is incorrect.
in the memo?
It is, the second one should be the fire.
Okay, gotcha.
Sales tax.
That's what I thought, because D and E on the way it's laid out later,
Yes.
or fire. Gotcha, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody got any other questions for Jacob while we got him? Anyone like to make a motion?
I move to approve the budget amendments.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we have a motion and a second approval of item 9. We'll call the question. Motion passes 7-0. Item 10, consideration of agreement to partner with Community Market for the nutrition assistance portion of the CDVG CV2 grant awarded by Oklahoma Department of Commerce. And I know, Ryan, you're going to be up, but did you want to leave or did you? It's up to you, but I want to give you time to do that. Just if you indulge us 1 second.
Absolutely.
All righty. So, Mr. Harkins, you were up, sir. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commission members. Ryan Harkins, Community Development Director. As noted, this is a an agreement with Community Market for funds to do nutrition assistance for low to moderate income households. This is a community development block grant that is COVID related, so it'll be individuals impacted in that regard. The city outlined $128,500 for this item. This will go toward families to provide, again, nutrition assistance and nutrition assistance only. It does not go toward admin support or staff salaries. So it will go all for programming to help individual families, which we feel is a huge benefit at this point in time. It's one of the number of items, excuse me, in the COVID-related grant that we're trying to do on top of rent and mortgage assistance and utility assistance. The questions about lead-based paint and affirmative action are standard HUD language that goes into every agreement with every community. It's basically to say that any recipient of HUD funds will not discriminate with regard to housing. They won't do anything with regard to leaving people in lead-based paint if they deal with those conditions or things like that. In this case, this service provider is not dealing with any of those things, so they don't apply, but it is standard language that still has to be in the contract per HUD requirements. So that's why it's in that. That is standard boilerplate language. With that said, staff recommends approval of the agreement, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
But questions?
You said that the grant is solely for, it's not for administration and it's not for staffing at community market.
Correct.
It's only for the grant guidelines of food delivery through the federal government that we've received access to.
Correct. So this will go toward providing food assistance, nutrition assistance for families benefiting from their services. And only that. So meal provision, meats, things like that. And I know that one of the staff from Community Market is here, as well as a board member. They maybe want to speak more to it, but correct, it does not go toward admin costs for the grant. It does not go toward staff salaries. It all is for programming purposes.
Okay. Any other?
And if we were not able to have this contract with the community market, would we be able to use these dollars, or would they have to be returned?
We would try and find other ways to use that money in other service areas. We chose Community Market because they're the only provider of food nutrition assistance like this in Shawnee. So we would have to try and find somebody else that could do something like that, or use it in other ways, like increase the amount of rent, utility, and assistance that we're doing.
Okay.
Any other questions? Would you two like to say anything? You don't have to, but totally up to you. I guess they're gonna pass on that opportunity. Anyone got a motion?
I'll move that we accept.
So I have a motion. Travis? I'll make the second. So we have a motion and a second for approval of item 10. We will call the question. Vote passes 6 in favor and 1 not voting. We'll move on to item 11. Cam, do you want to let him know that we're done with that? Or Andrea's got it, thank you. How are you, sir?
Good evening. This is
So
appeal for the.
We're gonna get
Go ahead.
Commissioner Matthews back in. And I'll read the item just so you'll know. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, item 11 is consideration of an appeal of an administrative order regarding property located at 806 West 9th Street. And Kevin Moore, our building official, is here for the staff.
Good evening. This particular structure we brought to a hearing on 11/18/2021. The owner did appear, and he pulled a permit to remodel the structure. It's been 180 days since we did that remodel, and there's been no work done. Since that time, the work or the structure has became dilapidated even more. There's no windows in it at all anymore, and it's grown up. We had another hearing on 6/16/2022, and the owner did not appear. So my recommendation is for staff to staff's denial of the appeal and the right to proceed for demolition is my recommendation. I included some pictures. It's been empty since 2015. The owner said that he had a company buying it to remodel it the first time, and that's the report we got the second time, and we haven't had any work done to the structure at this time.
Okay.
So.
Got any questions for Kevin?
It's my understanding, reading the packet, we followed the same process. A couple weeks ago, or a month ago now, we had a lady, she had the time to get the permit, which she did, and then that started the 180 days. It appears we followed that same process here and given every opportunity, but with no work.
That is correct.
Okay. Same question I always have on these, Mr. Vondran, are there any defects in the order?
All of the administrative process appears to be in order.
Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions? If not, I know Mr. Williams was here and be happy to give you an opportunity to speak to us.
My name is Ryan McCullough. I'm the owner of MK Renovations, and I am the general contractor for Local Guy Buys Houses. We have the house under contract to purchase. We have all the funding in place to purchase it. We have all the funding in place to rehab the property. I brought a bid with me. I've kind of never done this before, so I didn't know I should have brought one.
We're an easy bunch to talk to, so we'll just talk.
We renovate houses from Oklahoma City all the way to Tulsa. I currently have 6 going on right now. I'm the general contractor that deals with all the properties for this investor. I pride myself in making sure that any permits that need to be pulled are always pulled. We never try to do anything around, we never try to cut corners on anything. Like I said, I apologize. I've never had to stand in front of the city council before, but we, like I said, we are a very upfront company. We do great work. I could list numerous houses that were in worse condition than the house on West 9th property, and it is. I believe there was a squatter that was in it, and it's in pretty bad shape. We're going to have to do quite a bit of work. I think my bid's close to $30,000 to revamp everything inside of it, but we're definitely qualified to do so. I've done a few houses in Shawnee before that were not necessarily in that bad a condition, but all the way down to studs and brought them back up to nice houses, rent houses that we rent out. So that's kind of where we're at with it. I don't know what had happened in the past with the previous owners, but we are fully on board to bring the house back to life.
How long have you guys been involved in this property?
In this property, we're still in our inspection period right now. We had to get an addendum to the contract to bring it out a little bit longer because we usually only have it at 10 days. This property, I'd say probably about a month and a half.
So about a month and a half ago, you started.
We've got it under contract with the lady that's selling the house, and from that point, we usually have a 10-day. I guess you could call it grace period to, what I usually do is I'll go in when we get it under contract, I'll go in, I'll put a bid on the house. I have a sheet that I use for inspection, to see if we're going to need to work on plumbing, or we're going to need a new roof. And then I go back to the investors and say, it's going to cost us X amount of dollars to revamp this house. And the 10-day period gives them a little bit of a grace period to say, nah, it's too much.
Right.
The numbers don't match up. Or yes, we're going to go ahead and go forward with it. So we went ahead and had to extend that deadline out with an addendum to the contract to be able to come here tonight. But our numbers are good. I mean, we have the numbers are right to revamp the house and still be a good house for us and our business to either flip or hold.
Do you have a closing date?
I'd have to get the closing. I think the closing date's kind of hanging on this meeting. because like I said, we still have in the contract the ability to, obviously, if you guys condemn the house and bulldoze it, I mean,
Right.
we're not gonna wanna buy it past that point. So we still have an out in the contract to where if you guys do that, then we'll step out of the picture and we can kind of dead our contract. If everything goes good tonight, we'll go ahead and go back in with the title company. We've already have everything established. It's kind of all leaning on this meeting of whether or not we're gonna move forward with the property to close on it.
But you're still in a 10-day, you're still in a period where you could back out either way.
Well, no, I wouldn't be here today if we were going to back out on it. The guys that I work for, Tez Arbitha and Kevin Smith are the two investors that I work for, and we buy, I believe last month we bought 25 properties. So, like I said, this house is just another house to us. I know to the city, whenever I pulled up to the house, I think I even drove past it because the landscaping was so crazy.
It's hard to see
the house. But this is just another house for us. It's the same as, I mean, we buy a lot of distressed properties. That's kind of what we do, is buy distressed properties and then bring them back.
Have but you finished your inspection of the house?
I finished my inspection, yes, and now we're waiting to see if we can get it uncondemned before we move forward with the contract process.
Other questions anybody have?
When can you pull your permits?
If we close on this house, it would probably be, I would say, within 30 to 60 days before we would start construction on the property. I've had in the past, Shawnee's usually really good about getting permits processed through, so I mean, as soon as we close, we usually start on the properties within a week or two. So as soon as we close, I believe we could close by the end of this month, if approved, and we would start work on it within a week or two after that. I have right now, personally, that work for my company. I have 4 crews that work for my company, and I have 3 sub companies that I sub jobs out to as well. And at any given time, I have around, right now I have 6 jobs going on, but any given time I have between 6 and 10 jobs going at a time. So we have quite a few crews to get to work on things fast. The investors that I work for, I've had other investors that I've worked for, they would let houses sit for a year sometimes before we ever start working on it. These guys, they kind of drive me crazy, but I mean, as soon as they close on the house, they are gunning for me to start on it pretty quick. So, because obviously their money is tied up with the property until I get it done with the job.
So this is more a question for Kevin. Have you worked with them before?
I have not.
So when's the last time you've done one in Shawnee?
It's at the beginning of this year, and like I said, the electricians and the plumbers and the HVAC guys all had to pull permits, and then those were the permits that we had to pull. I'm trying for my life to think of the address that was, but I deal with so many houses I can't think of what it is. Another house I did right off Clark Street, we didn't need to pull any permits on that house. I want to say that was 16 Clark Street. And then we did another house on Louisa, right behind the Shawnee Animal Vet. That one we didn't need to pull any permits on either to revamp it. Those are the 3 that I've done this year in Shawnee. And in the past, we've got several rent houses here in Shawnee. Again, it's hit and miss. On a house like this, I mean, we would definitely have to pull permits on the electrical. I believe there's a hot water tank that needs to be replaced. He's seen the house. I'm pretty sure on that one the plumbing needs to be redone as well, and then it needs a roof too. So it's going to need permits throughout the whole entire property. But a lot of the stuff we do, 90% of the stuff we do is a lot of cosmetic work, and then 2 houses out of every 10 we do will be just completely down to the bottom, and we got to pull permits and bring it back up to life. One of the big houses I'm working on right now in Oklahoma City is a historic house in the Paseo district, and that's another one that's it's got asbestos siding, so we're having to calling it. There's only a couple companies in the state that can even deal with lead paint and asbestos siding, so we have to get it certified and have all of it done the correct way for the Historic Society. The windows can only be done a certain way, so we're familiar with working with it. But I'm also have done jobs in Shawnee before, and I mean, I know Oklahoma City is a huge town. Shawnee is a smaller town, and it's just not smart and not good business to try to cheat around permits in Shawnee, because as you know, I mean, he probably knows the job from the back of his head. He probably knows more about the house than I do from dealing with it, if you guys have been dealing with it for over 180 days. There's just not really any way to get around bringing a house like that back to life without permit. So
as a city, is there a way to hold their feet in the fire that it's done in a timely manner?
We would go against our very own procedures, and I would caution the commission to go there. We've had a very similar case. The CMO office was approached by a very similar case, and it was denied on procedural grounds.
I think we need to be, certainly nothing against the gentleman who's speaking or his company or the investors that are backing him, but candidly, there is no standing. They did not file the appeal. The property owner filed the appeal. Property owner is not here.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Yes.
well, potentially we'll hear from the property owner, but that is the individual with standing to actually address the appeal. Until there's a transfer of ownership, procedurally it would be very risky for this commission to create a negative precedent such as that, based upon a speculative.
But this has been ongoing for a year and a half.
Well, and with regard to holding feet to the fire, we have no ability to hold feet to the fire because you're not dealing presently with an owner.
Okay. So we've already gone through the process once, completed, it's over, the decision's made. They've had all 180 days to make.
Over 180 days.
Yes, over 180 days, so we're completed like has happened in the past.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
And again, just as a reminder, when we're dealing with the appeals, or when you guys are entertaining the appeals, it's not based upon, the decision isn't based upon new information. The decision is whether or not the administrative proceeding came to the correct conclusion.
That's where it gets
It does.
complicated for how it looks as to what it actually legally is.
Yes.
Mr. Williams, you're.
I'm
you're
Wallace
free to-
Williams. I am the owner of 806 West 9th Street,
Mhm.
and it is in poor condition. The permit that was gotten, what I was attempting to do was sell the property, and when I went to the meeting with the city, they said a way for me to buy some time to try to sell it was to get the permit for remodeling it. And so that's what I did to buy some time. I've been trying to sell it. I've had a couple different people kind of lead me along a little bit, and I felt uncomfortable with them because they were out of state. It's like we buy ugly houses type thing. To answer your question, it was actually scheduled to close June the 27th of this last month. That's when it was scheduled to close. When we were doing the final closing is when I was made aware that this meeting had occurred and it was going to be torn down. So that threw a kink in it. I actually had it, the notary was on their way to my work for me to sign some papers and actually to close it. So my understanding is they're ready to move forward. The way he talked, if this meeting went well, the closing would just be rescheduled and it'd be like a week and we would close again. I don't have the funds to rehab the property, and I was just trying to buy some time to sell it. So I wasn't trying to do a sham or anything. It was just they had told me that as a way to get some extra time. It took me longer to sell it than I'd intended. I do have it sold now, and from everything I understand from the company, they're ready to move forward and get right on it. That's all I know to tell you.
So there was a meeting last month scheduled, you didn't make that meeting?
No.
What happened there?
Well, I kind of found out after the fact, me and my father have the same name, and they sent him some information in Stillwater, Oklahoma. So it was not sent to me. So I didn't know until after the fact. I had mentioned it after the fact during this closing, and they had said, we deal with that kind of stuff all the time. It's not a big deal. I guess he didn't understand quite how far it had gone, and that's why I didn't attend it. So I do apologize for not attending it.
Okay, very good, thank you. What other questions do we have? If any?
What do we know about where that letter went? Accurate, inaccurate?
Address in Stillwater. That was not the basis of the appeal, but so we can do a deep dive into that. It was successfully delivered to a Wildwood address in Stillwater.
Is that the address we'd used previously?
So what was on the
Because he attended
permit that he got?
Yeah, he attended the November meeting. I'm just wondering if what happened?
Mr. Matthews?
Yeah.
We mail it to owner of record that's on the deed. So when we check the county website, we mail it to that address.
But it would have been the same address both times?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it appears. And it was also published in the newspaper.
Anybody else got any questions? If not, we'd entertain a motion. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So it was mailed correctly, or are you still?
Went to the owner.
Commissioner, I think the best way to explain it, and again, not questioning what Mr. Williams stated as far as his residence, but it is proper service, as Mr. Moore stated out, to mail it to the address of record. That is the purpose of that record, is so that that property owner can be found. And it appears that it was mailed to the address of record. It was also published pursuant to our procedure. So the procedure, as I stated before, does appear to be appropriate.
It was mailed to the same, I'm looking at it in our packet, it was mailed to the same place in November.
And again, I will speak for Mr. Moore, but I assume if they were aware that someone was living not at the address of record, they would likely send it to both places, but we would be required to send it to the address of record regardless.
And our decision is, did we follow procedures or did we not?
And the basis of the appeal does not specify a defect in the administrative decision. And so at this point, you would be confirming that the administrative decision was correct based upon the information that you have. And it would be as of that date, not as of today.
Not
As of the date of the administrative order, which would have been 2 weeks ago.
And you don't see anything that would indicate to you that anything wasn't followed properly? So,
No, nothing at
okay.
all.
I mean, to me, it doesn't look like we have a whole lot of choice, which I hate, but
I'll move to deny the appeal.
and I'll make the second. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to deny the appeal, item 11. So a yes would be to deny it then. So we will call the question.
Is there a second?
There was,
I'm sorry. Apologies.
Thank you. I want to make sure we have it right. Alrighty, so we'll call the question. Motion passes 7-0, so the appeal is denied. Item 12, consideration of an ordinance amending portions of Chapter 25 related to the City of Shawnee occupancy surcharge and providing for severability, codification, and repealer, and providing for emergency. And Mr. Foos is back up.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. On March 7th, the commission approved an ordinance to modernize how we collect our occupancy surcharge fee, also known as the hotel motel tax.
Right.
In reviewing everything, we found 2 additional items that needed to be addressed. One was removal of a reference to recreational vehicle spaces, and then the second was in the most recent ordinance, we removed the $1 minimum per room per night fee. That was established in the ballot language, and it can only be taken out with another election of the people, so we have to put that back in the ordinance. With that, staff recommends approval of the item. Happy to answer any questions.
Anybody got any questions? So just some housekeeping items, it sounds like.
Yes, sir.
Anybody got questions? If not, does anybody have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Tammy and Mark. All righty, you are up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. An ordinance amending portions of Chapter 25 related to the City of Shawnee occupancy surcharge and providing for severability, codification, and repealer, and providing for emergency.
Thank you, sir. So we have a motion and a second for approval of item 12. We'll call the question. Motion passes 7-0. Item 13, reconsideration of an ordinance to rezone property located on approximately 8.79 acres north of West MacArthur Street and east of Acme Road from R3 Multifamily Residential District and C2 Suburban Office Commercial District to a PUD Planned Unit Development, case number PUD 01-22, applicant J. Bentley Investments LLC, represented by Grubbs Consulting LLC, deferred from the June 20, 2022 City Commission meeting. Mr. Harkins. Yes. Oh, yes, we do. On item 12, we need an emergency clause on that. Thank you.
Move to approve emergency clause for item.
Second.
So Darren and Daniel.
Usually I know. My bad.
All righty, so we have a motion and a second for emergency clause on item 12. We'll call that question. And motion passes 7-0. I apologize, Ryan. You're up again.
Better be correct.
That's right.
Which is why we have this item in front of you. At the June 20th commission meeting, staff brought an item to defer. Staff inadvertently listed the wrong date in August. Instead of August 18th, the correct date for deferral would be August 15th. Procedurally, to correct that would be a motion to reconsider and then defer the item to August 15th. Staff recommends that reconsideration and deferral.
Okey-doke. Would anyone like to make that motion?
Move to follow staff's recommendation.
So,
Second.
That is
The 2 separate ones.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to reconsider.
all righty. So we have a motion to reconsider.
Second.
Second, so Daniel and Darren. All righty, so we'll call that question. We have a motion and a second to reconsider. And that passes 7-0. Now we need a motion to defer.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to defer the item at the August 15th commission meeting.
15th, is that right?
Yes, August
Okay,
15th.
I just wanted to make sure we got the right date. All righty. So we have a motion.
Second.
So, Daniel and Darren again. So now we will call that question. Motion passes 7-0. Item 14, consider bids, Woodland Park improvement projects. So we'll open those bids. Mr. Barkheimer has those for us.
Sir?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so as the mayor said, excuse me, we're here to open bids for Woodland Veteran Park. We had 6 bidders. The first being Genco Construction Company out of Oklahoma City with a base bid of $4,891,712.25. Alternate number 1, $33,000. 2A, $5,000. 2B, $60,320. 2C, $12,792. 3, $27,600. And 4 at $7,200. Bid number 2 is from Mack Hill Construction out of Ada. Their base bid is $4,941,772. Alternate number 1, $13,400. 2A, $3,200. 2B, $52,000. 2C, $19,680. 3, $36,000. Alternate 4, $6,000. Third bidder was W.L. McNatt out of Oklahoma City with a bid of $5,017,459.53. Alternate 1 at $43,733. Alternate 2A, $11,000. 2B, $57,200. 2C, $15,252. 3, $32,400, and alternate 4 at $12,000. Bidder number 4 was Wind Construction out of Oklahoma City with a bid of $4,974,647. Alternate 1, $20,000. Alternate 2A, $11,000. Alternate 2B, $57,200. Alternate 2C, $16,236. Alternate 3, $18,000. Alternate 4, $11,000. Bidder number 4 was Lambert Construction Company out of Stillwater. Their bid was $4,644,515. Alternate 1 was $32,270. Alternate 2A was $3,706. Alternate 2B was $55,068. Alternate 2C is $3,936. Alternate 3, $26,640. Alternate 4, $6,778. And last but not least, we have Downey Contracting with a bid of $4,648,233. Alternate number 1, $13,000. 2A, $6,900. 2B, $58,760. 2C, $14,760. 3 is $18,000, and alternate number 4 is $8,500. So now that we have that exercise out of the way, staff would just ask for a deferral so that we can review the bids and possibly do some value engineering.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions, though. Sorry.
I'm glad to see we got that many bids. That's good. Anyone like to make that motion, or anybody have any questions before we do that?
What was our estimate on the project?
It was $4,152,454.
For the base bid?
Yes.
So we're $500,000 over?
Yeah.
And that was probably
I'm sorry, sir.
That doesn't include the, because this is the Vetus part.
This is,
It's in this
is
bid.
inside of that bid, yes, sir.
But that, the 4.1 that you, it wasn't in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't.
So
We're
actually it's under budget.
well, no. We're the Avitas wasn't considered at all.
So the Vetus
in
isn't
this.
in this at all.
It will be a part of the project, but it wasn't calculated
It
in
wasn't
yes.
in these bids.
Yes,
Okay.
especially since it was accepted tonight. So at the time of the preparation, we were not considering it.
Which inflation, 10%,
Yeah.
so that's kind of in line.
Yeah, and the structural steel price is probably what ran up just in looking at the numbers preliminarily for 5 minutes in there, that's probably what got us, so.
And that was just going to be my comment as well, as the increase on materials is enough to make any bid look silly 2 days later. So
Mhm.
the fact that you were that close is pretty impressive, so.
Anybody got anything else? Anyone will make that motion for Mr.
Move to defer.
I'll second.
All righty, so we have a motion and a second to defer item 14. We will call that question. And motion to defer passes 7-0. Item 15, new business.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioners' comments, we'll start down your end. How's that?
Sure, I'll be short and sweet. Thankful to the voters. Excited to continue to serve for the next 4 years. And projects like this park and things that'll make our community more attractive for people to want to stay and raise their families and things like that. I'm very excited about moving forward things that improve our city. So thanks, honored to serve.
Short and sweet from me too. Just thankful for everyone who went to vote and participated. I'm happy to see some of the projects moving forward that will improve the quality of life, and excited about some of the grants that we have been able to acquire, so that's exciting. I just want to remind everyone that we're still neighbors, and we still have to work together on projects, no matter what happens in elections. So I'm hoping that we can move forward with a clear, cohesive, joint resolution to make our city better together.
Just want to always say thank you to our city staff for the hard work that they do every day. There's a lot of things going on in our world right now, and it's pretty impressive to see and hear and have conversations with the amazing women and men who work so hard every day making our city run. I am really was disheartened to hear of the incident at the hospital, and really concerned by the fact that the individual was so frustrated that they felt like that was the only option they had to be either heard or to get what they thought they needed as far as satisfaction from that incident. But was just absolutely amazed at the response of our officers and our police force. Not that you would expect anything else, but to know how quickly and how well it was taken care of, and without hesitation. And that's something that we should be proud of the amazing officers that Chief and his his commanders and all the people behind him put into place. They're unbelievable, and they give of themselves every day and do things that mere mortals, couldn't even fathom. And I'm so thankful to have them as part of our folks keeping our city safe and doing the things that they need to do to make sure that each and every one of us can go to bed and sleep soundly at night. So thank you, sir, for all you do. And oh goodness, it's absolutely amazing. Again, congratulations on commissioners that are won their races, and then the other individuals. Also would just like to officially give my condolences to the Hammer family and over their terrible loss, tragic loss this week. Our city our city is not quite as good as it was yesterday, and that's a fact, and that Mr. Hammer will be missed, and our condolences to his family. Oh, goodness. Thank you for trusting us to do our best with what we have here, and I hope that we can continue to do that.
Thank you, sir. All yours.
Thank you. Excited to see this project moving forward at Woodland Park. The kid space park already started, so there's a lot of good things that are going to be very visible starting to take place. It'll make our community better. Our water treatment plant, that construction is well underway. That's just not one of the things that we see, but it's one of the things that's very, very necessary. So now we're getting some of the needed stuff and some of the wanted stuff all done, and it's moving forward. It's good to see. My turn? Your turn.
You know, some of the stuff Rob brings to the table is, you kind of tear the scab off stuff. The city's not perfect. We do the best we can with the funds available. For me, the 4 key factors as a city is water, sewer, police, and fire. Everything else is kind of fluff as we can, fund it. But you look over the last 5 or 6 years, even before I was here, to the financial stability of the city to where it is now is a huge difference. The finance director, with our move on water and sewer, the treatment plant, we locked in historic low interest rates on paying it back, which is a huge deal for the city. We've built a new police station, bought a new fire truck, numerous projects that we've gone through. So, you're congratulating us on all this stuff that has gone haywire on your look, but you don't look at all the good things that have come about. That's, millions of dollars of savings just on the interest rates that we saved on with the Water Resource Board and stuff. So, we're not perfect, Rob. I agree with you. There's tons of things that, we would like to do. The homeless, down there is definitely an issue. The other side of that is I wish we could just snap our fingers and cure it, but it's going to be a slow process. But bottom line, the city is in really good shape from a water, sewer, and really what I'm looking for is really my kids and my grandkids. I've lived here all my life. You've been here a long time too. But, the positives way outweigh the negatives. And that's about all I got. Benny?
Congratulations to the recognition for the tourism department and their staff, and to the Shawnee Police Department. And I could say congratulations to the city of Shawnee or the citizens of Shawnee for bringing back the 3 commissioners. And that will enable us to keep the ball rolling and not have to start over. And about the water and the sewer, we saved lots of money on interest when we did all of that 6 or 7 months ago. And so I guess I will be here now till probably the 5th of September. I thought tonight would be my last meeting, but it didn't work out that way. And so I think that's all I've got to say.
All right, very good. Well, Benny, I'm glad you're still here, because then somebody up here is older than I am. So that'll end quickly. Just a few things. We recognize our police department, and I just again want to thank them for a job well done. You know, I got the letter from the hospital and what happened there, and you know, in light of what's been going on nationwide, those types of situations need to be taken very, very seriously. They did that, and they did it in a manner that everybody left there, you know, totally unhurt. I mean, even the person that was causing the problems, nobody got hurt. And, you know, that's not a story that we hear a lot when you look at the nationwide news. So let me tell you, our guys and gals on our police force, they know what they're doing, and they do a good job, and we're very, very lucky to have them. The tourism department, you know, we got to recognize them tonight. And, you know, that was a lot of fun to go to that event. And Shawnee just kept winning and winning and winning and winning. And, you know, and we sat way in the back, so we got to walk past everybody to go up there and accept the awards. And that was kind of fun, you know, because they were all looking at us like, man, what's, you know, Shawnee's obviously doing something right. So our tourism department has proven that they're doing things right. Thank you so much for all your hard work. And I know that that's helping bring folks to Shawnee and appreciate what we have to offer here. A big thank you to the Avitas Foundation for a very generous gift to put in a really cool amphitheater at our park just right up the street. I cannot wait to see that. I guess we'll see that next summer sometime. I know they don't want to tell me an exact date, but I really I'm looking forward to seeing that. The renderings that I've seen sure remind me of you know, the one up there at Scissortail Park in Oklahoma City. So I think that's a very cool look to it, and I think everybody's going to enjoy having that. On a couple sad notes, also need to recognize the fact that Robbie Kinzel, who was serving on our arts commission, she recently passed away. And you know, we were very, very fortunate to have Robbie on our arts commission. She ran the art program, public art, and for Oklahoma City for a long, long time. And she brought so much knowledge to that effort here. And you know, sadly, she passed away. So we're indebted to her for helping us get our program off the ground. And then also want to, you know, mention David Hammer. I mean, that about, man, what a shock that was to hear. Because I don't know if any of you had seen David lately, but boy, he sure looked good. He dropped about 50 pounds and, you know, just really looked good. And then to learn he died of, you know, a heart attack very suddenly, that's a bad deal. And I really feel bad for the Hammer family and the Jones family and all David's kids, and, you know, horrible thing. One thing I'm gonna kind of piggyback on the homeless thing that Rob had brought up about the numbers. You know, if you don't do a good job of counting, then you don't get a realistic number. And for a long, long time, we either turned a blind eye to it, but we certainly didn't do a good job of counting. Now we're doing a good job of counting, and we're getting a lot more realistic information this is the first time that we have ever had an organized, data-driven, coordinated effort to deal on homelessness. And the expectation that that's going to go away in just a couple of months after it took 100 years to get to where it is just unrealistic. You let the program run its course a little bit, I think we're going to see some progress. So I'd encourage you to maybe get involved in it. She's looking for volunteers all the time, and I'm sure she would love to have your help. So you reach out to Erica and see if you can get involved and make the situation better. Every one of us want it better. There is no reason for us, any of us, to want that to be a big problem here in Shawnee. And I know you think people are doing that to drive down property values, and that to me just makes no sense. We want property values to go as high as they can here. We want businesses to come here in Shawnee. So we're going to keep working that hard. That is all I have. Get to the right page, and we're going to move on to usually it's the Airport Authority, and it is. So item 1 is consider approval as a consent agenda, and there's not much on there. So anyone like to make a motion, or is there anything you want to do with that?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'll second.
So Cammy and Travis. All righty, so we have a motion and a second. We'll call the question. Motion passes 7-0. New business is item 2. Thank you, ma'am. We are adjourned and move on to the Municipal Authority. Item 1 is consider approval of consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Daniel and Cammy. Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval. We'll call the question. Motion passes 7-0. Item 2 is consideration of budget amendment for fiscal year 2021 to 2022. Fund 501, Shawnee Municipal Airport Fund, to increase loan proceeds and other contractual services in order to properly fund the water treatment plant expansion project for fiscal year 2021 to 2022. And Mr. Foose is up again. How are you?
Good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. This is just a housekeeping item, similar to the other one, closing up the accounts for the previous fiscal year. Staff recommends approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Anybody got any questions? If not, do we have a motion?
Make the motion approved.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second.
Mark and Barron. Okay, motion and second for approval of item 2. We will call the question. Motion passes 7-0. Item 3 is new business.
No new business.
Thank you, ma'am. We are adjourned. Time to go home. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight.